We begin this afternoon with a heartbreaking story because fire has destroyed a large part of Kantamanto Market in Accra's central business district, displacing hundreds of traders. The blaze, which began late last night, has caused widespread destruction to scores of shops. After several hours, the Ghana National Fire Service has managed to bring the fire under control. Kantamanto, which is Africa's largest clothing market, has suffered numerous fire outbreaks in the past. My colleague Collins from Pond has been interacting with some of the affected traders and sent in this report.
The fire started at 1 o'clock a.m. Since I came here about 33 or 35 years ago, I have never experienced such thing before. But in my mind, I can see that this place needs to be looked at, especially the government, because our electrical are not good. The way people are just sleeping here without any protection. So I'm pleading on all of people that have their things have been burned. Millions of cities have been destroyed here. Millions of cities have been destroyed. So we are pleading for the government, the new elect government that is coming in, to come and assist us. Many of them, the ladies and the women, some of them have been collapsed. They have been rushed to hospital. Some of them have been died. Just what happened right now. You can see the way I'm speaking. Even I cannot speak well. By the grace of God, that me to have my own have not been consumed. So we are pleading. You can see I'm shaking. I've never experienced such thing before. We shouldn't take it as a political. No. People are saying it's a political. Yes, MPP, and then that's why there's no. I'm speaking as a citizen of Ghana for the government to come to our aid immediately. Even as I'm speaking now, if they can take this thing, delegate to come here, to come and see. Still, Akufo-Addo government is on now. They should allow people to come here immediately.
You mean they should bring in authorities to come and assess the situation?
Yes, the authorities should rush in right now, because what is happening here now is very asshole. I cannot believe in my eyes. People are collapsing. They are rushing them to the hospital now. So please, let them rush and come here right now and come and see the situation at hand right now.
Right. Thank you. So that's the situation here. Over 100 shops have been destroyed, with millions of Ghana cedis, millions of cedis being destroyed here. I have an eyewitness here who saw the situation when the situation was unfolding. Please, good morning.
Morning, sir.
Mpacho, on what to say, I no pay.
Bako jana no me yeso enye.
Ade na enye.
Cause you free kuli fie ba ya japade na say. A shop na hyehyɛ. And the reason why my shop no hyehyɛ an say. E kwan me ho ya ifo bombe for ma bedum. Saa kwan fiber for ma bedum. No ma bombata so mfanifo no mo de agisika. Ti o car back ro munya ba mi ede o magina eno modum jam. Na se be me kwala asem kakra me so aka ne say. Le year bia opposition party beba power bia no. Market we hye. Ye nim reason kra e hye wa saa de no ba. Even maybe 2013 the opposition party come the same ones, and then second market yes ye nim reason kra e wo ha se me de man kwala asem American kra na say kamu say omka sa amba magina even though abanzo be si store na no bia na benya sky dey agibi until the bet me aba na say.
Let's get talking and speak to Alex Kinate, who is a member of the Public Relations Unit of the Ghana National Fire Service. Alex, what does your preliminary investigation tell you what caused this fire?
Hi, so good afternoon to yourself and to your viewers. We are still investigating. For now, we are able to substantive cause of fire.
Kindly speak up so we can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
So I'm saying that we're still investigating. For now, we can't pinpoint any preliminary cause of fire. Though the people or the market traders asked me to the market traders attributed it to arson, we are pulling it up and we are not basing our investigations on that one. So we are looking at it along other possible causes, which could be indiscriminate, which could be poor disposal, garage bat, or it could even be electrical. So we are looking at all options available to be able to come up with cause of fire.
There are often criticism about your response to such fires. How long did it take you for you to be able to douse the flames this time?
So looking at how vast the area is, looking at the kind of combustible materials involved in an area like that, the wooden structures, the clothing, the rubbers that they use to cover these clothing, it makes and how close these stalls are to each other. It's still a very daunting task for us. It took quite some hours to be able to put the fire under control because, and especially with the fact that functioning fire hydrants, whenever we were able to put the fire under control, as the time the explanation come back, then the fire will reignite. Presented a task for us, but earlier this morning, we were able to put the fire under control, in the process.
Right. There are concerns that there's going to be more fire outbreak, especially in markets in this new year. Is the fire service ready for this? How are you prepared to meet these fires?
Well, we are prepared as an institution. We are self-motivated. We have excellent human resource led by our Chief Fire Officer, Julius. We are committed to fight fires. But then again, being retooled enough would help us better perform our mandate. We have done best by trying to put back into fire tenders that were otherwise out of commission. And so that it still isn't enough to be able to tackle the enormous fires that we might be facing. So some intervention from government or key stakeholders or from some civil society or NGOs will come in handy to help us be able to achieve our target of being able to tackle every fire that we encounter.
Right. Alex Kinate is a member of the PR department of the Ghana National Fire Service. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon. Let's talk about education now, because the National Executive Council of the Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools, CHAS, has called for a delay in the reopening of schools originally scheduled for tomorrow, the 3rd of January. In an emergency meeting held on Tuesday, CHAS leadership urged the Ghana Education Service and the Ministry of Education to reconsider the reopening date, citing unresolved financial issues. Well, let's go onto the phone lines and speak with the Secretary of we are trying to connect with the Secretary of CHAS, who will be joining us shortly to brief us really on whether they've been able to reach a consensus with the stakeholders, that is the Ministry of Education and the Ghana Education Service, on whether or not they have dropped their appeal, which is seeking for the reopening to be postponed. Right. I understand we have Primus Bayo on the line right now. Primus, thank you very much for your time. We have barely 24 hours to the reopening of schools. You have appealed to government to reconsider rescheduling the reopening. Have you rescinded your decision so far?
Good afternoon to you, and good afternoon to your listeners. We haven't rescinded our decision. Our appeal still holds.
Sources tell us that the Ghana Education Service is saying that they have engaged you and that school is going to reopen as scheduled tomorrow. Are you aware of that?
Well, if Ghana Education Service is saying that school is going to reopen, we've never had any argument about who has the power to reopen schools. Our stance is that if schools are going to be reopened tomorrow, and as of today, schools have not been given money and food, we still have the view that the students can come. We are not going to lock any dormitory or prevent any student from coming. But in an instance where schools are unable to feed their students or to buy materials and other things to run the school, if in the event that is unable to happen, there's nothing. I don't think anybody can blame us for that. So they have the money. Yes, if they say schools will open, we don't have any problem. We don't have any qualms with that. We've never argued with them on that, but our stance, the issues that we have raised per our letter are still valid and are still in force.
And when was the last time you heard from government concerning these issues?
I cannot remember as far as this is, because remember that before this particular letter that we issued on the 31st, we had issued 3 previous letters. The most immediate one before this last one was on the 20th of December. We have another one that was issued around September, the 18th November, and an earlier one was issued on the 12th of August, all in connection with the same issues. And within that, between the August and the 20th letter, some measures had been put in place. But after the 20th, the one that we issued and issued a reminder again, we've not had any reaction from government as far as we know.
And remind us again what those demands are in those letters that you've written to government.
Yes, the last one, basically there are 3 things. We're talking about the arrears for the recurring fees. Some that have not been paid as late as far back as 2021. We have not been paid some recurring fee. We are also requesting that, the feeding, some schools have run out of food completely. Some schools have run out of food completely, even before the Christmas break. But the truth of the matter is that some schools have to even go on the Christmas break prematurely because we were to go on break on the 19th of November for the Christmas break. But some had to go as early as 17th because they had nothing in their stores, to feed the students. And the hope was that by the time we would have resumed after this Christmas break, something would have been done. Nothing has been done in some of the instances. I'm aware, it's on record that some regions were supplied some items within the period, but some regions, like Upper West, Northern, Upper East region, nothing has been supplied to the schools in these regions before and after today as we are talking. And the third issue that we raised had to do with the money in respect of carting food items from zonal centers. You will recall that for about 2 years now, schools have always been asked to go to certain zonal centers that were created in every region to cart the food. And the agreement between us and the Free HSS Secretariat was that these monies were going to be refunded because this is an extra cost that came to the schools. Unfortunately, the scarce resources that we're even grappling with the issue was compounded with this additional burden, and nothing has been done in that respect. Even though Free HSS, at the beginning of, somewhere getting to the middle of last year, had agreed that they were going to refund. Nothing has been done. So these were the 3 key areas that we outlined, and we felt that government should rectify them to enable us to resume after the Christmas break.
Now that the Ghana Education Service is insisting that school is going to go ahead to reopen tomorrow, are teachers going to show up even though you have no food to feed the students?
My brother, you see, these things, the consequences of these things are obvious. Like we have indicated, Charles, we cannot say the schools should not resume. We won't say that, and we cannot say that. Now, look at the scenario where students come to school, there's no food to give them. Headmasters do not have money to give to their kids. Even if you give the food, imagine you give the food, the raw food items to schools today, and the perishables money that we do not have. And we already owe so much. We owe a lot of people in the market. In most of the instances, people are not prepared to give anything to the school on credit. So imagine, yes, the student will show up, yes, but can the teachers actually teach hungry students? That is a big question, and the answer is obvious. I personally will not advise my students. In the first place, the students might not even go to class.
Okay.
And if they go to class, I won't advise my, because if we joke, you will know. I mean, it's on record that even before we went on break, some schools had gone, some students have demonstrated. I have an example in my own region over poor food and poor and inadequate food. So, and imagine from that time, nothing has been done. The situation would have been worse by now. Certainly, the schools cannot run in situations like that. Yes, so they may come. But that's what we are telling the parents.
Okay.
You do so at your own risk if you send your child to school where he will not find food to eat. But we open the dormitories for them. We open the classroom for them. We're not going to bar anybody from where to teach.
Okay.
Everybody should advise themselves as the right course of action to take.
All right.
That's the best we can
Primus
say. Yes.
Barrow, thank you very much. He is the National Secretary for CHAS. Let's now speak to Kofi Asare of the Africa Education Watch. Kofi, you've been listening in. Do you think the appeal to the Ministry of Education and the Ghana Education Service is a call in the right direction?
Well, I think that yes, it is important for the GES and the ministry to communicate and come to a level of understanding with CHAS in respect of what can be done in the immediate term, what can be done in the medium term, and what can be done in the long term to sort out the arrears that, according to CHAS, date as far back as 2021. I get the impression that there is no clear communication between CHAS and the Ministry of Education, and that's a bit worrying. And so the earlier that this communication happens, we prevent situation where in some schools, students will have to go to school tomorrow, and then it so happens that there's no perishables or food that CHAS is supposed to provide in the schools.
Right. It appears the headmasters and teachers are running out of options. What do you suggest they do?
I think that the JoyNews, I think that the Ministry of Education will have to speak to CHAS. Being silent on the matter and not having a JoJo or some level of compromises with CHAS is not part of the solution. Again, CHAS doesn't determine whether schools will open or not. That's the mandate of the JoYnews. But the reality is that if some schools do not have resources to take care of the food stuff that the schools are supposed to buy, and then it means that sending students there obviously might be a counterproductive activity. For me, on the issue of the debt, that is why I believe that conversations can be had for us to have a relaxed, something more relaxed, so that we know how much government can pay in the medium term or in the long term. But in terms of the submission by CHAS that some schools do not have money or food in terms of consumables, I think that that discussion between CHAS and the Ministry of Education must happen so that such schools can be identified, and then the necessary consumables required. Funds can be sent to CHAS immediately, so that we don't have a situation where parents send their awards to school tomorrow and then they are back.
And this has brought back the conversation about the free SHS needing a review, looking at all of these things. Some have called that, for example, parents should be allowed to pay for the feeding of their children. Are they justified?
Well, at the base of the challenge we are discussing is a liquidity issue. It's a liquidity issue first, and second, a cash flow issue. So they are approved budgets by Parliament, duly appropriated, which haven't been released in line with the cash flow expectation of the Ministry of Education. And so once there continues to be a gap between approved budgets, a gap between approved budgets and the cash flow requirements to run programs like the free senior school program, they are going to continue having such accumulation of debt. But if you're talking about debt, that data as far back as 2021 has been being alleged by CHAS, then it means that the cash flow issue may exist for immediate issues. Liquidity dictates how much the Ministry of Finance is able to release to the Ministry of Education, and also the timely disbursement or budget execution also determines the extent to which the Ministry receives the money at the right time from the Ministry of Finance and then disperse to the schools.
Okay, Kofi Asare, thank you very much. Let's still stay on this particular subject and bring in the Deputy Ranking Member on Parliament's Education Committee, Dr. Clement Park. Grateful for your time this afternoon. You've been listening to the conversation as well. Now, the Ghana Education Service is insisting that they are going to go ahead with the reopening of schools, despite the headmasters calling or appealing that they postpone it due to some arrears they owe them, and that if they come to school tomorrow, they cannot guarantee that the children are going to be fed. As a member of Parliament's Education Committee, what do you think?
Well, let me say good afternoon to you and to our listeners and viewers. Of course, I'm speaking to you from the coffee shop in Parliament. As you know, we are reconvening today.
Right.
Let me put on record that as a committee, we have not received an official communication or complaint from CHAS with regards to this very worrisome development. Albeit, we are all aware of what is going on. We have seen letters written by CHAS to the ministry advising that the GES and the ministry should consider postponing the scheduled reopening of our secondary schools slated for tomorrow. And to hear from you suggesting that
is insisting that they are going to go ahead with the reopening of schools, despite the headmasters calling or appealing that they postpone it due to some arrears they owe them, and that if they come to school tomorrow, they cannot guarantee that the children are going to be fed. As a member of Parliament's Education Committee, what do you think?
Well, let me say good afternoon to you and to our listeners and viewers. Of course, I'm speaking to you from the coffee shop in Parliament. As you know, we are reconvening today.
Right.
Let me put on record that as a committee, we have not received an official communication or complaint from CHAS with regards to this very worrisome development. Albeit, we are all aware of what is going on. We have seen letters written by CHAS to the ministry advising that the GES and the ministry should consider postponing the scheduled reopening of our secondary schools slated for tomorrow. And to hear from you suggesting that the Ghana Education Service has indicated that the reopening is going to go ahead as planned, which obviously is at variance to what CHAS has advised, should give us reason to worry. So what we can do is to monitor and see what is going to happen, but say to put on record that the situation as we are all witnessing, as it's unfolding, goes to the fundamental issue of the outgoing Akufo-Addo-Bawumia-led NPP government's inability to meet its obligations to our secondary schools over the years. Because if you were to look at the letter that CHAS has written,
right,
they chronicle arrears going back to 2021. So the question one would ask is this: why has government failed to meet its obligations? Why has Akufo-Addo failed to meet its obligations to a policy that he has touted as his flagship policy and is clearly going to exit the leadership of this nation, leaving the policy in abeyance as we are witnessing? That is unfair, and we must hold him accountable for what he has done.
All right, Dr. Clement Park, grateful for your time this afternoon. He's the Deputy Ranking Member on Parliament's Education Committee. Let's still stay on education because the Colleges of Education Teachers Association of Ghana, CTAG, will not show up in class when school reopens on the 13th of January, as they have declared an indefinite strike starting today after government failed to implement staff migration.
The issue that we're talking about today has lingered on for so many years and months. And my colleagues are not happy with the treatment meted out to them. Government's listless attitude to implementing arbitral awards. So they have resolved across the country that come 13th January, they are not going to the classroom to teach. Neither would they also go to the various schools where the level 400 teacher trainees are practicing or having their intention. They are supposed to supervise them. They aren't going to supervise them, and they also not vet their project work. That's the decision that council has taken.
Ask why now?
Well, brother, it is not now. The issue has lingered, I made that point. Since 2022, we actually did additional duty, perform additional work, and National Labour Commission ruled on 2nd May 2023 that the stakeholders, especially GTEC, Fairwages, should take steps to migrate teaching staffs of the colleges of education onto the university salary structure. That for the additional work performed in the year 2022, pay them just 1 man's salary equivalent. And also make sure that you issue them with new appointment letters.
Okay.
And my brother, as I speak with you, those things have not been done. Even with the all year round work compensation, only 4 colleges have been paid. The remaining 42 colleges are still outstanding. So the issue has been there, and we have had several meetings. And the last time your colleagues interviewed me, I mentioned to them that we have had over 42 different meetings and still counting. When you go, it has been one promise after another promise, one promise after another promise. And I think we had had enough of the promises and enough of the meetings that we have attended.
Right.
So we felt that after issuing several presses and statements in the media that if all these things that we have identified, mentioned, have not been done for the members of CITAD, certainly we're going to embark on strike. If you recall, we issued a strike notice somewhere 26th of September 2024.
Yes.
Then there was additional notice just to give some time for government to maybe get things done. And they never minded us. So another notice was issued on 23rd and also 24th. And still there has not been any positive response. So eventually we have gotten to what we have gotten to, my brother.
Okay. Away from that, the Parliamentary Select Committee on Works and Housing, led by Committee Chairman Vincent Oponasamoah, have toured the Saglemi housing project following last Tuesday's inferno that burnt down 2 containers serving as storage facilities for hardware meant for the completion of the housing project, which has stalled for over 7 years now. Committee Chairman Vincent Asamoah expressed concern about the current state of the project in the following report.
The committee's visit to the Saglemi housing project site was to see at first hand the level of damage following last Tuesday's inferno that burnt 2 containers serving as storage facilities for hardware meant for the completion of the project, which has stalled for close to 8 years now. Committee Chairman Vincent Asamoah expressed concern about the current state of the project.
It's terrible. This is about our 3rd time of coming here. And you know, those materials have been here for over 10 years. And leaving it at the vagaries of the weather, you can imagine what has happened to it. The question we keep on asking ourselves, if we had used our own money, pocket money to procure this, would they allow it to go waste the way we have done it? You know, we have spent over $200 million to procure all these items, apart from the structures we see here. The materials too, also a cost to the government. So if you are leaving it the way we have left it for 10 years, and most of the materials we cannot do anything with it. And that is what we have done to ourselves as a country. That's the way we treat ourselves.
He accused the Kufuor-led government of deliberately abandoning the project.
If we had even salvaged about half of this project, at least we have saved something for the state, the 200 million. We have saved something for the state. As for legal to go by illegal issues, you can have time to go to legal issues. It can take 10, 15, 20 years. But at least what we have there belongs to all of us. So we need to protect it. Look at the road where we are standing. Look at the quality of road. Look at the drainage system. And for 7, 8 years, we've not done anything about it. Why? That's the question we need to be asking ourselves.
Oforikrom MP Dr. Iman Omafu and member of Parliament Select Committee on Works and Housing says provisions must be made to ensure continuity of projects even during changes in government.
We need to, as part of the transition act or the arrangements for presidential transition, we need to maybe amend that and include such component on projects. Because this is a $200 million project. That's a lot of money. So it cannot be that we, as a country, we don't know how to manage transitions. And that transition is only telling people this is what we have done, see the document. No, we should also be able to negotiate arrangements to say that this project that we are leaving for you, we are supposed to build, let's say, 5,000, and we have been able to do 500 or 1,000. These 1,000, they are ready. So we broke that.
Well, let's take you to the House of Legislature now because there's a full-blown government shutdown as Parliament returns from its Christmas and New Year break. Before the House was adjourned, the Finance Minister failed to submit the budget for the first quarter of 2025, which has meant that effective yesterday, government agencies have no approved budget to function. Now, let's take you live to Parliament and get the latest on this. And my colleague, Kweku Asante, is joining us. Kweku, first, do we have any idea if there has been an agreement for the minister to present the budget, probably today?
Well, Kenneth, the Parliament of Ghana will be dissolved on Monday at 10 o'clock a.m. This 8th Parliament with 137, one independent MP will stand adjourned and suspended indefinitely, I should say, dissolved completely for the 9th Parliament to be sworn in later in the day. The major business that are currently outstanding first, the mini budget, obviously, as spoken about. But tomorrow, the President, Nando Dankwa Akufo-Addo, will deliver his last State of the Nation address, the message on the State of the Nation, to account for his stewardship for the last 8 years that he has been in office, and so he will do so. There is also the matter of the anti-LGBTQ bill, which has been outstanding for quite some time now. We know that the Supreme Court had to deal with matters of challenging the constitutionality of the bill passed. The court dismissed those cases, and so the bill has since been sent to the President. There is absolutely no indication if the President will sign that or not. And so with Parliament set to expire Monday, if the life of the 8th Parliament expires completely, it will mean all outstanding business that have not been done expires with it. And so that is also there. So there's the matter of the State of the Nation address tomorrow and also the anti-LGBTQ bill, a number of other important bills that are hanging in the balance out of Parliament being dissolved on Monday. And so after 10 o'clock a.m. when this 8th Parliament is dissolved, at 9 p.m., MPs who have been elected for the 9th Parliament will all come back here at 11 o'clock p.m. on Monday. They will elect a new Speaker of Parliament, and then at 12 o'clock, that Speaker of Parliament will be sworn in for that Speaker of Parliament to take his time and in turn swear in the other members of Parliament for the House to be gathered in session, properly so-called, for the 9th Parliament to take effect. Kenneth.
All right. Kweku Asante is our resident correspondent in Parliament. Thank you very much. Now, refugees in the Atakra camp in the Kintampo North municipality of the Bono East region have called for support to enable them survive. The Atakra refugee camp houses about 350 people who escaped terror attacks in Burkina Faso and are now living in Ghana. The refugees said even though they appreciate the shelter offered them, food and other basic necessities have become a bother to them. There's more in this report.
That are killing. I see them in my eye. They kill them to pass. Me, myself, I see them. The dead body.
It was a beautiful Saturday morning for Michael Jalugu and his family on the 7th of April 2023. They had plans for the day, but that was going to change. Tragedy has struck the area. Terrorists had attacked a community before Michael's communities, killing several people. Michael and his family had to flee for their life.
The thing happened to us. We are coming from Burkina because Burkina, we have dangerous things there because one group, they call them terrorists. Them also fire us there. If they came your place, they will kill all of them. Now they kill many towns. Now we see that one. That's why we ran away Burkina Faso.
There was no time to pick anything. They therefore left behind all they had toiled for in life.
Our lives here is not easy because we don't have anything. We just come empty. That's why our life is not easy for us.
Michael pastored a church in Burkina Faso. Today, he's teaching the children on putting their trust in God as their only hope. Sanata is one of the women in the camp. She tells us the struggle they go through each day to make ends meet.
Life is not easy in the camp. Food to eat, water to drink. When our children are sick, to get money to send them to hospital is a challenge because we don't have health insurance.
For these children, riding over 5 kilometers each day for water has become a normal routine.
Where we go to fetch the water is very far. Without the bicycle, you can't go. I go to fetch the water 3 times every day, and that is very tiring.
Fortunately, the Rural Water and Development Program Ghana, an implementing partner of UNICEF, is drilling hand-up wells and toilet facility for the refugees. It's been several days of prospecting. They finally hit water. The team spent their Christmas helping the refugees. Dr. Nathaniel Adams Jr. is the CEO of RWDP. He said they dedicate the day's work to the memory of former U.S. President Jimmy Carter, who passed on for his humanitarian service to the world and Ghana.
As a team, we understand emergency. We decided to forgo the Christmas. 25th, we were here, 26th. Fortunately, we've been able to find some access to water. That is okay. We'll now work on it for them. And so we sacrifice the Christmas to provide life for the many children who are here and the women.
Here at the Atakura Health Center, head of the facility, Evelyn Yeruye, said most of the illnesses these refugees come with are malaria and diarrhea.
The conditions they come here with is malaria, diarrhea, skin infection. And for this season, this dry season is not much, but rainy season that they come more with diarrhea.
The facility is fortunate to benefit a borehole from the donors. Zong Wapo Susan tells us the challenges they had to go through working without water.
There's no water here. The only season we get water is the rainy season that we get. We get the rainwater to use. But after the rainy season, there's no water here. The UNICEF people came around and they are giving us some water here. We are very, very happy for the water they've given us.
We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with more.
If you're running the ring, now. Tank muna mujiji iskasa mukotole. Tank nuna eliki ama henyi ono siye. So wait, ne papa. Na papa no pole eliki. Pacho ibenyensi we. Ghana for. What #1 plumber ni o. Efi lekwe sa wo to tank de won sua gumu a. So Sintex tank, mitre SINTEX. Sintex tank. Eye top. Eliki. It's me with the beer. Sintex tank, color beer open, size beer open, yama wo. Sintex tank, the whole Ghana, you must 7 years warranty. Sintex tank, are you strong? Are you tough?
Every day, people have money emergencies. I need my school fees emergency. My chop money emergency. Emergency. Catch it. I'm your rent emergency. Now, there's a new emergency number in town. More money, challenge and enjoyment. At the top life we got. Dial star 770 hash for all your money emergencies and chop life.
Dial star 770 hash for money emergencies and get easy and quick access to your money, loans, and other banking needs. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
You're welcome back. And in business today, interest rates are expected to remain elevated this year. This is due to increasing demand for liquidity in the short-term market. The yield on the Treasury bills hit the 30% mark last Friday. There's more in this report.
Interestingly, the rise in yields and bids for T-bills reflect investors' strong desire to lock in at a higher interest rate, particularly because of declining real returns and liquidity constraints. Last week, the government accepted total bids of 4.65 billion Ghana cedis, exceeding its target, and upcoming maturities of 4.26 billion Ghana cedis and 3.28 billion Ghana cedis respectively. Yields rose, with the 91-day increasing by 18 basis points to 28.04%, while the 182 and 364-day bills rose by 11 basis points each, settling at 28.68% and 30.07% respectively. In November 2024, the government received 21.5 billion Ghana cedis of T-bills auctioned. This fell short of the gross target of 22.8 billion Ghana cedis. Unsurprisingly, yields remained on the uptrend, averaging 90 basis points across T-bills.
Right, and MTN Ghana has donated hundreds of hampers filled with baby essentials to newly delivered mothers at selected health facilities across all the 16 regions of the country. According to the telecom giant, the move is aimed at giving back to society.
The gesture forms part of MTN's effort to spread love during the Yuletide. A total of 600 hampers were distributed to newly delivered mothers and their babies on admission in selected hospitals across the country. Samuel Bartels, senior manager in charge of regulatory and government affairs, spoke on behalf of the Chief Corporate Services and Sustainability Officer, shedding light on the donation.
Christmas is about giving. And on Christmas Day, we celebrate the birth of a child, in this case, the birth of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And so this hamper distribution project that MTN has been embarking on since 2011 is our way of sharing and celebrating Christmas with the mothers and their babies who happen to be in the hospital on Christmas Day and on Boxing Day. And that's what we've been doing since 2011. Since then, we've distributed over 3,500 hampers. So we are here to share in their joy and also bring them the spirit of Christmas and celebrate with them on the birth of their children. We are doing this distribution in all the 16 regions of the country. In Greater Accra, we are doing Kolebu here. In Kumasi, we are doing the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital, the Dambai Hospital, the Ho Teaching Hospital in the Volta region, and then Dambai is in the Oti region, Tamale Teaching Hospital, Holy Family and Sunyane hospitals, so all over the country.
Expressing her excitement, Victoria Jamo, senior midwifery officer at Kolebu Hospital, commended MTN Ghana for their continued support.
We are pleased to have MTN Foundation with us here this morning to actually give to the mothers. As part of their charity work, they are here this morning and they have given us 140 hampers filled with a lot of goodies, including diapers, wipes, like as in baby stuff. Yes, so we are so grateful and we hope to see them again. They should come next year and maybe in a much bigger way. The department is grateful and also the mothers are grateful. It will go a long way to help the mothers because some of them are in need. They can't actually afford to pay most of the things they buy.
We have world news and showbiz coming up after the break.